What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. We are back to digest, to discuss the shit show we have just seen. Would you say that? That's what we've just witnessed, Ashmatic?
Yeah. That's what I've come to realise, that we are not Tottenham TV. I mean, we are Tottenham TV. Sorry. Yeah, it's been awful today. It's really been hard to watch.
It's
stomach banter FC. Not even second half FC because we didn't turn up.
Mate, it was just. I think everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Yeah, we scored first, but the goals we conceded were cheap. We were overrun. Benton core injury.
What else could go wrong?
I mean, I think the only thing that couldn't have gone wrong is we didn't get anyone sent off. Yeah. So there'd been more suspensions for the Premier League. But listen, we've been speaking about this all the time. The whole point of this show is to bring on the fans and let them have their say.
Yep.
So we are starting with a dear friend of mine who has many nicknames. I can see him. He looks like he's ready to go. Let's bring him on. Let's bring on Alex THFC, a.k.a. Mr. Box Office. Alex, how we doing, brother?
Is he on mute? My headphones not working.
Alex, can you hear
us?
There you go.
We're gonna make this a night to remember. Oh, really? Let's get straight into it, Mr. Box Office. Let's start looking back. Yeah, because people were telling me, the masses were telling me, oh, you're negative. You're in the mud. Oh, Alex. Oh, you're Mr. Post Office. Oh, Alex. Well, you need to get cancelled because Alex, you're so negative. Why do you not give Emerson a chance? By the way. Oh, Alex. Oh, but it's such a great performance. Everything else. What do you see there, bruv? What do you see now? You see what I'm saying? We deserve that result. Because after that embarrassment last week of the gift that keeps on giving, I need to introduce you to Tottenham fans, deluded Tottenham fans, telling me we're title contenders. We are title contenders. Yeah? You really want to try that? You want to go that again? I mean, Bill Nicholson must be looking at that and sitting there thinking, really? Really? I've won championships, bro. And you're telling me this squad is title contenders, bro. Yeah? Oh yeah, let's get even more further into it. Where's Virgil van Dijk, by the way? Where's Virgil van Dijk from last season? Where is he? Oh, he's doing a mistake like that, isn't it? What is he doing? What's happening, bro? You know what I mean? The people that was making stupid videos last week, because my boy Brian sticks it to every single time this club. He does everything for this club, yeah? About leaving and everything else, and people make fun of him, yeah? Make a video because I want clickbait. They want to get clicks and hits and everything else, yeah? And have a go at my boy Brian. Have a go at my boy deluded Danny. He's my boy Danny, even though he's deluded, yeah? And make clips about him, yeah? But then look at that and say, oh yeah, well, I'm happy with that, by the way, yeah? I'm happy with that, yeah? Because Conte's gonna stay. Oh yeah, but tick-tock, bruv, tick-tock. Because when is his contract finishing, bruv? Where's his contract finishing? Oh, yeah, end of the season. Oh, that's really long-term, isn't it? Bloody hell. But then I'm negative. I'm in the mud. Well, I'm not negative. I'm not in the mud. I'm not tight. I'm Mr. Box Office, a Tottenham fan that goes to every single Tottenham game, bruv. And I've said it every single time, bruv, yeah? The professor of truth and entertainment, bruv, yeah? People that tell me stats. Well, what stat really matters is, how many trophies have we won, bruv? How many trophies have we won? Oh, 0! Oh, really? Oh, yeah! That's all I need to say. And that's all I need to say. I'll give it back to Aspatic to tell me what I need to know, and that's it, bruv. Because Mr. Box Office is out of here, yeah? Big up, Brian, yeah? And big up to everybody else, yeah? And Mr. Box Office is out of here, bruv. I'm done. I'm out of here, bruv, yeah? Bye-bye.
Okay, so Alex is very, very emotional and stressed right now. And listen,
can't blame him.
You can't, can you? He's come on.
It's been coming.
Listen, I will say, listen, people do get abuse in chats, in comments, on Twitter, or on whatever. And Alex mentioned myself, obviously for the protests and whatever. One thing I will say is I've met Alex hundreds of times. Alex is one of the nicest guys you could ever wish to meet. The best smile on YouTube. And he's very, 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 very passionate about his team.
Yeah.
And he is someone that comes in for criticism. When everyone wants a successful Tottenham, that's the problem. Everyone wants a successful Tottenham.
We do. We all want the same thing.
It's how we get there that's the problem. But you can see there what he's talking, and he's right. You look at it, you kind of dissect what he said. Trophies, obviously, we know it's not worth going on. Virgil van Dijk is one I absolutely love. That was brilliant. But I think everything he said was spot on.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, he's saying it how it is, and that's what you want from your fans. Like when it's bad, it's bad, and then call it out. Do you know what I mean? Because like he said, he was criticised for being negative, and he could see things that he wasn't afraid to call out.
Yep.
And when you do that, you got a target on your back almost.
Correct.
And people love to kind of jump on you. So fair play, man, because you know what? Some of these fans need to hear it.
That's the thing. Medicine, what is it? Taste their own medicine.
Yeah, you need to taste your own medicine.
So we'll see. But let's get on with the next fan. Let's bring on Mike. We can hear you, Mike. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, that's a hard act to follow.
Yeah, yeah. You could say, but let's see what we can do, Mike. I'm sure you're going to be fantastic. What do you want to say, and what do we want to talk about?
You know what? When Spurs get spanked 4-1, you have to think but nobody really covered themselves in glory today. I know that rightfully so, the defense is going to get a lot of stick. They're going to get a lot of stick. But you have to think how many natural center backs played today in that back three?
Yeah.
Dyer's a converted midfielder, and Davies and Tanganga are both converted right and left backs respectively. So there are no natural center backs that's going to hold that down. Every time that and Dyer did totally get caught out a couple times. But you have to think, what else do Tottenham have to work with? I think Sanchez could have done a job on that in the center. I think that when Dyer gets spun, when he plays Iheanacho into the goal, that's not natural center back play. And the whole the Sonny Perisic thing, it's got to stop. It really has to stop. One of them has to go.
Yeah.
Who goes for you at the moment, Mike? If you had to make that choice right now to be, let's just say for Milan,
who drops out?
Out of those two, who do you drop? Rest or rotate, whatever would?
It depends. And so you also have to take into account you don't have Bentancur in there anymore either, because you're going to assume that he's at least going to be out a week, at the very least. So if he's out for a week, then you have to think, hey, who can take in the midfield so we can, because I think Bentancur does the job of two people. He presses enough for one person, and he retrieves the ball enough for another person. So he's one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. There's no Basuma, so you have to play either Pat Matassa or Ollie Skip.
Yeah, have to
Skip. It's going to be hard, for a manager to think, okay, well, we have one of the best midfielders in the Premier League gone, and what are we going to do? I have to change my system up. So if Son and Perisic play together for Milan, I'd be a little surprised, because Perisic today was awful defensively. Porro was even just as bad defensively, but. Well, we knew Porro was bad defensively. We knew Perisic was bad defensively, but we didn't know that not having competent center backs this season would hurt this much.
Yeah, you can say the same now with centre backs as well, can't you? It's literally it is that back line. But you mentioned Porro. Obviously, his first introduction was to get spun all over the place within the opening minutes. I don't know if anyone's seen this. I got sent it by a few people on Twitter. Tim Sherwood was following the game for Sky Sports today, and absolutely tore into Porro.
Yeah, completely.
Tore into Porro and Levy at the end, saying, well, "What are you doing here? That's £44 million or whatever it's going to be."
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And it looks like, all right, it's only one game, but we knew he could attack, and that's why we needed him. But he did not look very. I mean, it's his first game, so we got to be careful what we say here. But he did not look that comfortable defending, did he?
No, not at all. And that's one half of his job is defensively. And when you're back in the back five and you're getting bodied and you're getting spun off like that, it's not good. Everybody took him to the cleaners. Barnes took him to the cleaner. Madison took him to the cleaner. Iheanacho did everybody dirty today. And you have to think, where are you going to get that solidity from? Because, Romero is either injured or he's, suspended.
Yep.
Romero's injury record for Spurs hasn't been very good. So he's the only competent center back that you have, and he's covering perhaps one of the weaker defenders that is there. I just wanted to point out that Porro and Kulusevski know how to play together. Sonny was making runs, and Perisic just wasn't even looking. He would either pass back or pass in the midfield. I was just like, what the hell's going on here?
Do you know what? I've got a couple of things to say just very quick because we got the second thing's quite worrying when we think about it. We'll get your reaction first, Mike. So we've got a members chat from Raja Sharma saying, "Is it time to let our hopes go?" It depends what you're hoping for. And I want to say to there it is to Squozen and Frozen. I completely forgot about this. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg is suspended for the AC Milan game.
Yep. Yep.
So our midfield is going to be Skip and Sarr.
Yeah, it has to be.
In the San Siro.
Has to be.
That's, what's your thoughts on that, Mike?
You know what? I'm going to say this. We've taken Harry Winks and Moussa Sissoko to the Champions League final. So sometimes it's not the midfield. You have to think, is your defense as good as Alderweireld and
Yeah.
Absolutely not, and you don't have a creator like Arison to get the forwards the ball. So, this squad, I don't expect anything. No top four, it's hard to see this team making it past Milan now with no Hugo and no Bentancur. So no Champions League and probably not winning the FA Cup. It's really bad.
So what do you reckon? I mean, obviously Fraser Forster as well. I don't think he could do much with many of the goals. It's still not going to look good on him. The first goal he certainly could not do with, but that's what happens now. If you look at it, we've got a defence that's so shaky, a goalkeeper that hasn't had a lot of minutes, and this is our biggest problem, isn't it? Our defence going forward when we're purring, we're fantastic. Defensively, we're all at sea.
Nah, man, I'll be honest, and you brought this up on the channel a lot, and this is the last thing I'm going to say before I hop off and pop smoke. You have the right idea when you say ENIC out, Levy out, because this all comes down to whether the owners are willing to invest into the team what the fans are putting also into the team. And I actually have an indictment against the Tottenham fans as well, because in America, when we see this bullshit happening, we just don't pay. We don't go. When Brian and Sim go to all the matches, God bless them, this is their livelihood, but they're also part of this problem because they're saying that they're complicit in accepting mediocrity by accepting the fact that this product is good enough to keep showing up for. And it's not. It's garbage. It's bad that Spurs have to pay the highest ticket price in the league. The highest ticket price in the league for this garbage. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mike, listen, this is the thing. Like I always say, everyone wants a successful Tottenham. It's how we get about it. Obviously, living in North America, as I do now when I'm not here, is I know what it's like and the differences, especially when it comes to the sports team. I know how I can only really talk about it with the Maple Leafs because the Maple Leafs in Toronto are like God. They're like, if anything happens with that team and they need to they will do it on a sixpence. They would literally go straight away. But this is the thing. It's we could talk about the managers, we could talk about the players, we could talk about everything else in the stadium. But you're right, it's not acceptable, is it? Again, do you know what? I'm going to praise Levy a bit. I'm going to praise him a little bit for the stadium and the training ground, which are architectural miracles, which are fantastic. I'll praise him for getting the team on a good financial setting.
Wow.
No, but that's what I will praise him for. But believe me, I have about a billion things I can hate him for and whatever. And if you're not going to do it, then you need to pass the buck to someone that will.
That's my thing. My thing is, look, thank you very much for what you've done. Please, could you gently move along now? Put the club up for sale, so investors know that we're up for sale, because that's what it takes. You just need to say, look, we're up for sale, and then investors were looking more attractive to look at and buy. But when you're not advertising that minimum to at least say that you're up for sale, then do you know what I mean?
Yep. I've got one final question for you, Mike, and then we will let you go, buddy. AC Milan. Well, actually, let's take Milan out of the way because that's Champions League. Who's our next league games in West Ham?
Yeah, I'm doing that.
It's West Ham next week?
I'm doing West Ham, yeah.
Okay, so what formation do you go in? We won't go into line-up. I mean, if you had the choice, are you going to stick to Conte's 3-4-3? You're like, right, this ain't working, especially with players that are not available to us. We're changing this. What would you do?
I go 4-4-2.
Okay.
I keep so back line is Davies, Dyer, Sanchez, and Emerson, with the mid four being either Perisic or Sess, with the middle two being Skip and either Højbjerg. No, Højbjerg with either Skip or Mathesar, and on the right you have either Kulusevski or Pedro Porro, and the top two being, Kane and Son, or Kane and Richarlison. Because I actually want to see Kane passing the ball to Richarlison.
Yeah.
But either way, I know that defensively this team is way too frail. I think that for what it's worth, there's not one naturally good center back in the team. Actually, scratch that. I know that Romero is coming back, so he's going to slide in that team. But regardless, we will drop out of the top four race. I don't see it happening, and I think that Liverpool will catch up to us. I think Brighton will catch us. I think Brentford catch us. I think we finish 8th.
You go for 8th.
Yeah.
What's that? 8th is 7th is your conference.
Yeah.
8th is that. Do you know what? If we go out of Europe, I'd rather just no Europe at all.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I think that also no Europe is good for Spurs. One week
should be
is good. 1 game a week is good for Spurs.
Just not attracting the players.
And not attracting the players, and obviously not attracting the revenue. So we have to scrimp and save a little bit more because we haven't got that coming in.
Bring in the top defenders that we need. Yeah.
But thanks, guys.
Circle.
I appreciate it.
Mike, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, buddy. We'll speak to you very soon.
Take care, my bro.
What a great call.
Yeah.
What a top man.
Yeah.
So before we bring on the next guest, we have a members chat from George, you, my man. Neglect of the football team results in this mess. George, as normal, is absolutely bang on the money. But yeah, let's bring on the next guest. We have Ross.
Michael. Sorry, Michael.
Oh, okay, Michael.
As
sorry.
far as I remember, I'm not Ross, but
I saw your face.
I saw it. I was like, wait a minute. I know there is a guy called Ross.
I thought, did he change his name to Ross?
Yeah,
I'll say, I'll call you
Do you know what it is?
Michael.
I haven't got. Do you know what? Wait a minute. One second, Ross. 1 second.
Michael. That means Michael.
That's Michael, man. Come on. Now I've got my glasses. I've got my bins on. I can see. Michael. How are we, brother?
Bad hope.
Some
Like the
boys.
rest of us.
Yeah, we've been better. Not gonna lie.
I bet.
It's literally my first week free of studying, pretty much for past 2 months, and I was like, today is a match against Leicester. We always do well against Leicester. Time to get relaxed and and whatever. And what do you know? Tottenham at its best. Fucking hell, it's always like this.
It is, Michael. Obviously, I love speaking with you and your tactical knowledge and the way you break things down. Where do you even begin with this?
I'm honestly clueless. I think I think like the whole team today was absolutely dog shit, and I don't want to hear excuses for any of the players. Any, not a single soul in that team deserves like compliments. Maybe you could argue Bentancur, but the poor lad got injured, and to be honest, like it's not like he was so great before that unfortunate thing happened. I think that Højbjerg today was constantly like losing the ball. Son, like nothing came from him. I think Kane was a ghost with wooden sticks for legs because like he didn't really participate, but every time he got the ball, it bounced off him. I think he lost possession like half of the times he had touches. Kulusevski was a ghost today. Poro poor performance. He got like dribbled past a few times. Tanganga was mediocre. Dyer, what the fuck was that? I'm honestly lost for words in terms of Dyer. Davis, same thing. Perisic again, defensively not contributing much. Offensively, I expect more from him, considering he used to be a left winger. Is that everyone? Yeah, I think. Oh, and Forster. Like, I will tell you one thing with Forster. Get used to conceding goals that are shot low and powerful, because this guy takes ages to get down to try to save a ball. And if you see that like first goal, fair enough, nothing the guy could have done about it, right? No keeper in the world saves that, because that's just one of those goals, right? But the other three, I think Hugo saves one or two of those. The second goal also, like it was 1-on-1 with Maddison, so maybe I won't blame him for that. But the third and fourth goal, both of them low, near the
And the
post.
disallowed goal as well,
Get
Michael.
used-
The offside was the same, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the offside goal was the same. So, I honestly, like, I know hindsight might be a good thing. I expected a tough game today, but I did not expect to get embarrassed by Leicester, and it was fucking embarrassing. I think it's the first time we conceded 4 goals under Conte, and it's like the first time we conceded 4 goals for a long time, guys. Like, we've been conceding 3, but 4.
We did it against Manchester City. When we were
Yeah.
Manchester City away.
Okay, so sorry, then I'm talking shit. But so before City, I think we didn't concede 4 goals before with Conte, as far as I remember.
When Manchester City scored that 4 in one half, that was the first time that Conte has had 4 goals scored against him.
Yeah, it's
and now he's done it twice.
Like, boys, listen. I want someone to come on and try to defend Dyer. I will fight him with my fists, literally. I am sick and tired of pretending that Dyer is good enough for this team. And the issue with this defense is that we are all sure and certain that this defense is not good enough, but then they drop a performance like they did against City to save their ass. And as soon as they do that, and we think that they might actually kick on and do something good for once in their life in this team, then they drop a stinker like this. I'm sorry, this defensive performance was inexcusable, but so is the attacking performance of our players. Our front three was shocking today, in my opinion. Like, as I said, the whole team in general was shocking, and I think also Conte got plenty of things wrong. And are we back to square one? I honestly thought after City that we might kick on with this season, but then you look at a performance like this, and I honestly don't know what to think about this anymore. Because after losing to Arsenal, I was done with this season. I said plenty of times on plenty of streams that I don't really care anymore about this season, especially about the league. Then they drop a performance like they did against City, and the flames of hope start blazing again, right? And I get knocked down as soon as I get any hope in my heart again. So yeah, just classic Tottenham for you today, right?
Michael, it is. And when you look at it, let's talk a bit more about Eric Dyer, unfortunately. But I want to talk about exactly what you're saying, because I'm in total agreement with you. This guy has survived 17 transfer windows. He is supposedly an England international. He spent most of the game defending. If the microphone is the player, like this.
Yeah.
And then I don't get it. Back in the day, we'll talk about people like Michael Dawson. Bang, he'll go into him. Toby, whatever. Romero does it now, but this is a guy that's been with us for long enough now, has represented his country, and is now putting in performances like this, and they are happening more than they're not. And if I was Conte, I would not be picking him again. He'd be on the bench.
Yeah, like honestly, boys, all of us played football as kids, right? And whenever we had to take the ball off one of our colleagues, right, when we were playing against them, you try to do it. You try to put your foot in, right? You attempt a tackle, right? You attempt to do something. Like the goal by I think it was Iheanacho's goal, the third one.
Yeah.
I think Dyer was standing off the guy for solid 10 seconds, and he didn't even put a foot in. Just attempt it. If you get dribbled past it, at least you tried, right? Like Iheanacho had all the time in the world to try to line up a shot, pick the spot, pick the power that you want to blast the ball with, and slot it in, right? And like I'm honestly sick of it. I'm sick of watching this guy pretending that he's a defender, right? You said that he's an England international. I would honestly, I think I wouldn't take him in our Polish national team. And the level of our players is diabolical compared to England, right? I am serious right now. Jan Bednarek scored an own goal today for Southampton, and I still think I would pick Jan Bednarek over him. I'm honestly so done with Dyer, and Davies, like he's been okay this season. I don't really put Davies and Dyer on the same level of shitness, but today Davies was also tragic in my opinion, and. Like, listen, boys, it's not even like the worst of our worries. Lloris is injured for a long time. Bentancur probably will be out for 2 months or something, right? If the reports are true and he's done his ACLs, that's him out for like majority of the season, if not the rest of the season.
That is him
right?
out for the season if it's ACL.
If it's ACLs, it's done. Even if he comes back maybe for like 2 or 3 matches and he will have to be eased in or something, right? Bissouma has a broken foot or whatever, right? Højbjerg is suspended for the game against Milan. I honestly, it will be tough because, like, you know, at least looking at our schedule, I thought that, you know, with how bad Milan have been recently, I thought that, you know, at least Champions League would be as tough as I thought it will be. But right now, with Skip and Sarri in the midfield, and Forster in goal, and like, you know, it starts looking a bit shit, right? And also I think Ali Goat reported something about Sessegnon apparently being injured. That's why he wasn't on the bench today. So
right.
you know, suddenly we find ourselves with three wing backs in the team, right? Perisic, Royal, and Porro. Because Spence and Doherty are out and Sessegnon is injured, right? So suddenly, like, we had 1 match with the whole squad uninjured. And listen, I don't want to like bring the violins out and cry about injuries and whatever, right? But I think we are in a tough spot right now. And honestly, Conte, you need to step the fuck up and master something up, because I'm not going to put up with us conceding 3-4 goals a game. That's not the football I want to watch, right? That's inexcusable
Marco,
in my opinion.
you brought Conte up, and we've actually got a super chat from Rich Firth, and we'll get you to answer this. So it's from Rich that says, "I've been fully in support of Conte, but at what point is it his responsibility to cut out the inconsistency and awful defensive structure?"
Yeah, like. You want to comment on it, Brian? Sorry.
No, you comment, brother. You far away.
Yeah, like, listen, I'm not Conte out. I won't be Conte out. I'm sick and tired of blaming, like, throwing managers under the bus and changing managers. I think if you want to run a successful team, you need to stick with a manager for a long period of time, right? again, I don't want to bring Arsenal in again, but they are sticking with Arteta for a long time. And I know that maybe their past like 3 results haven't been great, but overall you can see the clear progress, right? That's why I want us to stick with Conte. Or if we are going to change, I want us to stick with the next guy, but don't change now. Don't do it now. Wait till the end of the season. Hire a new manager if you want to, right? But stick with him for the next 3 to 4 years. But with this match and our recent form, I think if you play 5 at the back or 3 at the back, whatever you want to call it, right? This formation is supposed to be defensively rigid. And whereas I understand that when people say that you can't blame Conte for individual mistakes, and I rinsed Dyer today and Davis, right? You can't really blame Conte for their individual mistakes, but maybe we need to play a low block with 30% of possession so that those players cannot like run up the pitch, because we got caught on the counter 2 or 3 times today, and they are clearly lacking in physical department to make those runs, and they are lacking in mental department to be composed and calm when they are defending, right? So we have to put them in the safest situation possible, right? Against City, when we played and we had 30% possession, all they had to do was clear the ball with their square heads, right? All they had to do was put the head to the ball, knock it out. Don't let Haaland touch the ball, right? And they did great. I think they did really great in that match against City, right? But as soon as you introduce some pace to the game, they are out. They are incapable of defending in such situations, right? So it's for Conte to decide whether we want to play like this half press thing that we did against City. It was brilliant to watch. I really liked it, right? But you just have to decide or something, because those players are incapable of holding a high line. So you need to fix the defense. And I am all over the place. I just realized. But what I mean to say is that he needs to come up with a system for those players not to be exposed
Yep.
Yeah,
to
I
getting
get it.
countered on, and
You're
to
talking sense.
yeah, like they cannot deal with pace, right? And they cannot deal when they are spread apart in like when the opposition plays really wide, like Arsenal do, like Leicester did today. I think they struggle with that, right? When we make our opposition cross the balls into the box and we can just pack the box with 5 players, then this defense is good. That's at least my feeling, right? We did well against City when they were just crossing the ball into the box. We did really bad against Arsenal and Leicester today when they were spreading the defense and countering on them with pace. So I think we need to come up with the system to make the opposition play the way we want to, right? I know it may be like confusing, but and this is up to Conte, in my opinion. This is something that he can work on and something that he can fix. Individual idiocy by our defenders is not something that he can fix, right? So he cannot make Forster defend the goal better. He cannot make Dyer like use his brain and put the foot in when the opposition attacker is in front of him, right? He cannot do that, but he can do things systematically and systematically. I'm not sure about the word. Yeah, you get what I mean, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that he can fix.
Well, you got to look at this as well, Michael, because I saw a thing, I don't know if it was on Twitter or in the newspaper today. Newcastle United, who have got the best defence in the league, spent £65 million on that defence. That's all they spent, £65 million, which is basically one Tanguy and Dembele.
Yeah.
And obviously the big one being Botman, who we were obviously linked with, but we know what happens when we link with people. So when people have a go at people saying, "Oh, we spend money," but it just goes to show the recruitment. Newcastle listened to their manager. Newcastle scouted their players. They spent what money they had to, and now they have the best defence in the league. So I'm hoping when the summer is up and we know whether Conte is in charge or not, if Conte is in charge, whatever defenders he says he needs, I want to
should
see
bring
them in.
them,
Not okay, you want this, let me get you a cheaper option or a younger version or a this version. Okay, you want this person? There he is walking through the door. There's the other, because this defence, I said it at the beginning of the season, I'll say it again, I said it before January, I'll say it again all season. We need open heart surgery on that defence, period.
Yep. Yeah, like I've seen people on plenty of group chats already, like discussing and and fighting about whose fault this game is, right? Some people say it's Levy, some people say it's Conte, some people say it's players, right? In my opinion, it's not one particular thing. In this case, in the case of this game, it's not. It's all of those parties' fault, right? It's on Levy for not getting better defenders. It's on our defenders for being so shit. It's on Conte for like picking wrong players, in my opinion. Emerson should have started today. I don't care that Poro is a new signing. He should have been eased in my opinion, and not like thrown straight into the gutter. So in my opinion, it's on all three parts. But as you said, this defense needs to be ripped apart, and like many players need to go, right? And maybe I didn't like slate Tanganga today, but I think he needs to go, Dyer needs to go, Davis needs to go, or at least they need to take a substitute role in the team, right? They cannot be our starter because they are clearly not good enough, right? Whenever I watch other shows when like fans from other teams are talking, right, and Chelsea fans are mentioning like Badiashile and Silva, right? I know Liverpool's defense is shite, but they mentioned Van Dijk and Konate and whatever, right? And I hear names Dyer and Davis whenever someone talks about our defense. I've been hearing those names for 7, 8, 9 years. I'm honestly done. There is a point where you cannot excuse it anymore. And I'm at this point. I was at this point long ago, right? But this is the game that exposes it even further. You have to change it. You have to do something about it. And unfortunately, we'll have to wait another 3 to 4 months, right, before we can do something about it. But if we don't bring 2 or 3 center backs in the summer, then what the fuck are we doing? What is the plan for this team? I don't care what the manager is in the summer, right? I don't care if it's Conte or another manager. No manager in the world will make do with this defense. No manager in the world can do well with Dyer, Davis as the base of their defense. You have to change it. You just have to change it. I don't want to see Dyer as a starting center back in August when we start the next season. That's inexcusable for me. And that's basically what I wanted to say. I'm honestly done with. I never tried to defend Dyer, but I'm done with listening to people trying to defend him. That's enough for me. Like
there we go. There we go. Well, Michael, thank you very much indeed, brother. I'm sure I'll speak to you. I'm here doing the watch along for Milan with Simon, so I'm sure I'll speak to you Wednesday night, brother.
Yeah, definitely. See you then.
It's Wednesday.
Oh yeah, cool.
It's on Valentine's Day. Me and Simon are going to have roses
and
chocolate.
I thought Valentine's Day was Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Oh, it is Tuesday. Oh God!
You got me in trouble.
I thought it was Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Tuesday. Okay, so Tuesday night. I'll be speaking to you Tuesday night.
Yeah, very soon. Very soon.
Yeah, we'll look forward to speaking to you there, Mikey. Have a good weekend, buddy.
Yeah, we'll catch up, boys. Have a good weekend.
See you later on, mate. So let's get the show on the road and carry on, shall we?
Yeah.
Who we got? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Everyone, get ready for a nice bit of calm talking, but very factual information and very tranquil voice. Let's bring him on. He's smiling. He knows who it is. It's the Jorricle. Let's bring him on. How are we, Jorri?
I'm good. I'm all right. It wasn't fun watching that. That's for sure.
It was comedy gold.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, there were some moments there for sure. But actually, I'm mostly pissed with our fans, to be honest. You're watching the same kind of crowd that absolutely tried to destroy Emerson are now going in for Poro, Conte, you name it, and it's always the same knee-jerk reaction, and to be honest, I think just everybody needs to, like we say here in Iceland, breathe through the nose, calm down, and breathe through the nose. You need to, I mean, if you look at this game, it was a bad game for the whole team.
Yep.
and maybe not. I actually kind of predicted it on the call in yesterday. I said this is going to be our Burnley. We just won
Yeah, you did say
Man
that.
City, and now here comes the Burnley game. And wouldn't you know it, so was it. But I would say, yeah, they are kind of coming off the. They're having a sugar drop, after the Man City game, as a team in general. And that happens during season many times, And when that happens, that's when you have to rely on your superstar centre back. That's when you have to rely on your superstar goalkeeper. And Romero, you could say he's up there, but he wasn't playing this game, and we know that we're like he's the only natural centre back there. By the way, big up Mike, really nice call. Um, I would though say in terms of American fans not going and stuff like that, it's a lot more complicated with season tickets in the Premier League. It's like you spend your whole life standing in queue for it, and you get it, and you don't just give it up like that, So whereas in America, you can always go to any game without any problem, really, and quite cheap actually, usually. So it's not quite comparable, and in general, American fans are not something you want to imitate in any way. They're pretty awful, to be honest. But anyway, I mean, for me, it's back to the same old, like I said at the end of the summer transfer window. If we don't get at least one first choice centre back, the whole thing is being risked, because it's kind of like a goalkeeper. Let's say we go into the next season, we have Harry Kane, we have an elite manager, we have whatever, and we decide to go for a goalkeeper that everybody knows is not good enough, and then the whole project comes crashing down. Can we be surprised? Can we, is there any point of blaming the left back or the right back or the pivot, the guys in the pivot or whatever, when we know that one of the fundamental pieces of our structure is not there? So like I said, the whole team was bad today, and I would also say Conte made a big mistake. He shouldn't be back for this game. He should just relax and leave Christian to take care of it. And not that I think, people are saying Christian's a better manager and whatever. Like, Christian is probably one of the best assistant coaches in the world. Why is he that? Because he's working for one of the best coaches in the world. So it kind of goes together, those two things, So let's not get ahead of ourselves in that regard either. But I would say definitely for me, the main, apart from so what I heard was Emerson had a little knock, so that's not why he wasn't starting. I don't know if true or not. I don't know. I also heard like.
We also heard that he was doing that, sorry, for Emerson to be ready for Milan. So he didn't want to play so many games. So it's 6 of one and half a dozen the other, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, but my choice was to start Porro anyway today as well, But I was almost thinking, to try out the Emerson right centre back thing, as well. There's really very little to lose there, and when you think of the alternatives we have to work with, So, but then you're of course not resting him and probably giving him even more work, to be honest, to cover for Porro. I would really also appeal to our fan base to kind of really look themselves in the mirror, and in terms of the Emerson and Porro thing, you see. Try and understand that this low block, and when you're calling for going all out and all of that, we can't do it without the right personnel, And when we're not minding the defense the way we've been doing and playing guys like Emerson, it goes badly wrong. It's going to be these high goal tally losses that we're going to get if we do that, you know. So, but I would say one thing actually I would want to see, and I really, you know, because today we were seeing really bad performances from Kulusevski and Son, you know. So I thought it was even more obvious. What I would love to see at one point would be to go to a 3-5-2, but actually a 3-4-1-2. So, you know, have a 10 and then have Richarlison and Kane up top. I think that would be actually a way of going even more offensive, having an overload in the midfield, and being able to create something. At least it's a way for us to get more out of Richarlison, because when he's on the wings, he's just plain average, you know. Whereas we know when he's, you know, in the center part of the pitch, he can be absolutely devastating. And those two together centrally would be absolutely amazing. I would even a 4-4-2 would be fine by me. I do think, I mean, it would probably in different phases of the play go between those systems, you know. But for me, I thought it was really obvious today, you know, you're getting nothing out of your wingers. You know, let's try and switch it up, you know. And in terms of the Man City game, we also have to remember Pep absolutely killed his wings when he, you know, let Sterling go, and like the way he played, there was nothing happening on the wings. So the pressure didn't come on like we're so used to, one of the sides basically folding under the pressure, and it didn't. They tried to go through the middle, and it worked for us, you know. So. So I think, I think first of all, the fans need to calm down. And I'm not having that Foster is at fault or anything. You know, there was one goal that I think maybe Lloris would have been closer to the last goal. I think Lloris might have a chance of saving that. That's a typical kind of way you're wowed by Lloris. You know, he gets down pretty quickly in those situations. But apart from that, I was actually pretty happy with Foster, apart from the game being awful in general. But it was definitely not due to his to him, I think. So I think we should definitely be careful how we. You know, like now we get Porro in, and so are we going to put him to the Amazon treatment now? Are we going to completely destroy his confidence before he gets going in our club? You know what? I don't think, you know, we just have to chalk it up to a really bad day at the office. And when we have those, we don't have the structure. We don't, I mean, unless we go really, really low block, that's the only thing that's like that kind of has saved us a lot. But when can you imagine how our fans would react with a super low block against Leicester? You know, nobody would have that. You know, so
that's true.
Well, how does obviously going into Milan?
Mm-hmm.
How does now with a suspended Højbjerg the potential of a Sar skip midfield? With thank God Romero will be back, but there's still going to be no Hugo. Obviously Foster will be in, but that could be a main point of target for City, couldn't it? Where they've all got to be Milan, they will try and go through the centre.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm saying like when it's not, you know, Højbjerg wasn't on his A game today. Not that I have any particular fault with him or anything, but he was nothing like he was in the Man City game, which isn't surprising. You know, he maybe spent, you know, he's maybe completely spent after that game, you know, and needs some cover to recuperate. But in general, I think like when our transition's too slow, we get crowded out in the midfield, and that's when I want, okay, so let's just have numerical, like let's go to the 3-5-2, or like I'm saying, if we're chasing a game, it should be like a 3-4-1-2. Because that's even more offensive in my view, especially with Kane and Richarlison. Like those two guys alone can wreak so much havoc that there's going to be created so much space for the rest of the guys, like Højbjerg, Bentancur, to come into the space and have long shots from outside the box and stuff like that. So for me, I don't feel like we don't tweak tactically enough when it's so blatantly obvious that the team is breaking down. So yeah.
So we shall have to see. But Jorri, thank you very much, brother, for your call. Call or
Thank you for having me.
Cool. So cool.
And we'll speak to you.
Great show, guys. And I think
Thank you, man.
in general, I just wanna end on this. I think in general, in terms of Milan, it's going to be hard and all of that, but they are struggling themselves. So it's never a one-sided thing, and I'm sure this is going to be as like last year with the Burnley game. I'm sure this is going to be yet another one of those where we can reflect and improve. But in general, we will never get away from our structural weakness, which is central CBs.
Yep.
They're not there. Like Mike said, we have one center. The rest of them are converted players, and not good conversions either. So
you mean like a Thierry Henry that was a winger became a forward, and we all know what happened there?
Yeah, well, not quite.
Gareth Bale, yeah, let's go closer to home. Well done, cheers. You safe there. Yeah, Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale's a better one.
Yeah. Take care, guys. Great show.
See you soon, Jorri, brother.
Nice one, bro.
Yeah.
Yes, you know what? Talking about that, like Jorri said, like others said, we said it during the watch log.
Yeah.
When we lose to Man City, we win our next game.
Yeah.
But when we beat up Man City, we lose our next game. So whose bogey team is who?
Yeah,
are we theirs or are they ours for the game after?
It's true. They're like we're like a thorn in their side, and they're like, yeah, all right, take that, you like a bitch.
Hold my beer moment, isn't it? It really is. Just so people know, Man, you are currently playing Bournemouth, and it is 1-1. AFC Bournemouth playing Newcastle United.
I was going to say they're playing Newcastle.
What the hell am I on?
Newcastle. Need them to drop points.
Bournemouth went 1-0 up with Sensei, and Almiron has scored the equaliser. So knowing him is probably going to be a banger because they're all banging. But yeah, let's keep the fan show going. And this guy's got his own intro. So it's me.
Cheers.
It's KPV. Yeah. How are we doing, my man? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Like, who's bogey team then? Like, we lose to City, we win the next game, we beat City. It's the same as last season. We beat City away, then we lose to Burnley, then it's the same win, lose or something. We're back to where it was last season. Like, David done a video of our fixes we got, and he was saying, can we mount a late card challenge? Well, there's your answer. No, but never say never is what I said, but them lot who are top drop points yet again, so, but still bad weekend, but the good thing is, the two London clubs play today drop points, and good weekend, but still bad weekend. But, yeah, and why did we let the Irish Cafu leave?
Well, we had to, didn't we? We had Spence out. We couldn't count how many players we had out on loan. So he's gone. Yeah. What did you think of Porro today, KPV?
I'm probably gonna get a lot of stick for this, but I thought it was pretty poor today. But starting him ahead of Emerson Royale, who pocketed Grealish, like, I think it was a mistake to start him because I know he was probably had a bit of illness last weekend before the City game, but I think he should have kept Emerson starting. The best performance in a Spurs shirt I've seen for a long time, but then this happens. 1-0 up, and then this happens again. It's the second time Conte's had 4 goals against him. Like Man City just a couple of weeks ago, and then this Leicester. Leicester haven't beaten us since what? It was under Mourinho. We lost to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium when Madison thought he scored, but goal ruled out offside. Then Kobe scores an own goal. Then Vardy scores. Like that was the last time they beat us, and we still won our 4 games. But now it's over. It's what we won 4, they won 2. So basically, and I believe that's what 77 goals in this fixture. I saw on Twitter that there's not been any more goals in the other fixtures on this one. So this is probably the best fixture between the two. But Kane didn't score today. I thought it was going to break another record. Shearer's got 20 against Leeds and Kane only has 18. Well, it's a shame. But Bentancur against them again, like in September, that's 3 goals, I believe. Or was that 1 he got? 2 now, actually. But yeah, Bentancur is probably our best player. I know people are probably going to disagree, but I think he was. Today, like, same old Tottenham, same old shit. Yeah, another day. I don't understand why this happens again. But Romero's available for AC Milan, but Højbjerg isn't. Like, who would I start in midfield with Bentancur? Like, looks like it's going to be, what, Star and Skip or something? I don't know. What formation would people go with? In a chat, everyone.
Yeah, you got to look at it as well, KPV. Bentancur's injury, all right, he walked off, but it does not look good, does it? That could be his season done. And if it is, we're in big problems.
It's the same with Eric Lamela a couple of seasons ago when Chelsea won the league. Lamela was out for the rest of the season, and so another injury problem. Like, yeah, it could be Bentancur because I think him and Højbjerg have been our, 2 best players before the World Cup, and he was providing assists. And if, like, we didn't get a midfield, like, we're probably going to get run over midfield for the rest of the season if I see on Twitter Tottenham say we can confirm that Bentancur will be out for the rest of the season. Like, well, it looks like we ain't getting top 4 then because the only way we can get Champions League is by winning it. But I'd love to win it. I do, but I said to David yesterday the treble's still on, but not this way.
The treble is still on. You were saying that yesterday. The treble was still on.
Yeah,
Technically, yes. Actually going to happen? Not in a million years, my friend.
yeah, true. But, like, I asked you last year, what would you rather win, Champions League or Prem? And you said, what, Champions League was it?
Premier League. I'd always choose the Premier League. The Premier League for me is over 38 games. And that is I want to say we were champions of England. And we did it in the toughest league of them all. I will choose the chat. If you said to me right now, we'll win the league or the Champions League, I will choose the league.
I'd say Champions League, man, because no one expected us to get to that final on the Poch. Like, a good one, but I think, we played, PSV or Barcelona, and if we'd lost at Barcelona when Lucas got the equaliser and the fans screamed louder then we would have been knocked out, Group B, but now we went on a good one and got to the final. But, like, as I said, Lucas got us there, Kane didn't, and Poch made the mistake starting Kane, even though he wasn't 100% fit. Like, come on, man. You don't start a player who got injured against City at the new stadium, and it was Baby and Delph. Like, he was saying I didn't do anything. Bomb clear blood. What are you talking about, huh? Injuring our best player. Piss off, mate.
Which one? What would you choose, Aswasik? If you could say Champions League or Premier League?
You know what? There's arguments for both. I'll do Prem, but I understand the Champions League.
Yeah, of course.
Because Arsenal have never won it.
Of course. No,
Arsenal
that
never won
part
it.
I get.
So if we won the Champions League, they would hate it. And I would love it so much. So I understand where KP motherfucking V is coming from. But at the same time, Premier League's got a soft spot. I got a soft spot for the Prem. Like, you want to be along those leagues. And I want it for Kane as well to say, like, yeah, he won. I want it for myself, obviously, first, but Prem is just, it's the Prem de la Prem, you know?
I like that. The Prem de la Prem.
The Prem de la Prem.
Prem, but, like, I'd agree. But I'm sticking what I say. Champions League.
I respect that.
And I said what I said, Brian, a couple of weeks ago. Cody was going to win the Royal Rumble, and Rhea Ripley did. So big up everyone who watched the Royal Rumble, and I certainly did. But if Tottenham had a Royal Rumble, who would win the Royal Rumble if we had one? Tottenham Hotspur.
I don't know, but there's lots of defenders I'd like to throw over the. No, there's loads of defenders I'd like to throw over the top rope. That's for damn sure. Off the sky rope, off the skywalk, over the rope, whatever. But yeah,
Over the skywalk.
yeah, why not? Why not? Let's have the Royal Rumble on top of the skywalk. Just chump people. Yeah, why not?
Chuck them off.
Why not? It might get moving a bit.
Get Dyer off.
So KPV, go on.
Yo.
No, go on. What you about to say, brother?
I've got some news that Brian Dagg was going to like. The Elimination Chamber is in Montreal, Canada, this weekend.
Yeah, next weekend it is. Yeah, but funny enough, I'll be here.
Oh, yeah,
I'm still here,
Saturday
mate.
evening, though, mate. It's in
I'm
Montreal.
still here.
Yeah, you can still watch it if you've got the WWE app. Download and watch, because KPV will be watching, and we are in for a banger of a match. Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns, turned on the bloodline, and done a Seth Rollins, mate. Stab your brothers in the back. Boom. He was probably he didn't want anything from Reigns, but will we see the unthinkable happen? Because Cody Rhodes will be watching, but everyone to look forward to. But West Ham at home, we should be winning, because we already beat them last season when Son scored, and yeah, he got 2, and it was an own goal from Kurt Zuma. But Ben Warmer, it's going to be interesting. AC Milan, they just won. I believe yesterday they did, or today. Well, sorry, AC Milan, they've got an ex-Gooner who we were after when they had Lampard as the boss. Chelsea, Giroud, we were after, but the deal was agreed. But we could have only got him if they got a replacement, but that didn't happen.
I would have liked Giroud, to be fair. I would have minded Giroud. I wouldn't have minded him. At the time, not now, but at the time.
No, at the time.
I think we were missing a striker, a backup striker, and for some reason, Mourinho never got back.
Bring the big man, Fernando Llorente, back, because he was at the season last weekend with Aaron Lennon, and bring Llorente back, man, because when Kane was out, him and Son were scoring goals. And bring Llorente back, because I asked Brian David this question last year on the Late Show or something, 2 strikers to come back. You said Llorente and Sheringham, Brian?
What, if I could have any 2 strikers back in Tottenham's history?
Yeah.
Klinsmann and Berbatov.
Yeah, Klinsmann my guy.
I think
Klinsmann's my guy.
Klinsmann and Berbatov all day long.
Pause.
Sorry, man, but fair play. But I want Llorente back, because I still can't get that City game out of my head when they thought they scored a 5th in the Champions League, but Llorente got it off his hip. They were claiming it was a handball, but clearly you didn't watch the game, people. City fans can know what they want. And Pep, keep Daniel Levy's name out of your mouth, mate. Keep our club's name out of your mouth, kid, because you're starting to moan.
Mate, let him moan. Let him moan. Let Pep moan. Let him talk about it as much as he wants.
He's a dickhead. I still don't like him. Man.
Out of your mouth.
Give us a Carabao Cup, man, because they should be stripped of that anyway. Because we were in the final and Laporte didn't even get sent off. We should be giving it, because we were in the final, and so people, the FA now need to do their job and give it to us, because we were in it, and we should have won that if it wasn't for that Laporte challenge. But so do your job, FIFA and FA, and give us that trophy. Then it can shut Arsenal fans up, because they've never won that trophy. We have. They haven't. So give us that trophy, then it can shut them off.
I'm sure Arsenal have won the League Cup, KPV.
Yeah, they have.
No, they haven't.
They have won the League Cup.
Coca-Cola Cup.
Yeah, they have won the league. They've won the League Cup before. It may not
Yeah,
be the
that wasn't
Carabao
the
Cup. They've won the League Cup.
Yeah, they won Coca-Cola.
Whatever sponsor it was. I think they've done it in Littlewood, Simod, and all
yeah.
those as well.
Yeah.
So
Worthington
they've done.
Cup, though, mate. We
That's
won
what we
it
did.
2 times, 99 and 2008. But the 2 captains of Leicester, I'm only going to say one that's Ledley. He's only got one name. He's better than John Terry. Oh, Ledley. Yeah, because
What a great way
he's
to end that.
good. Yeah, and I'm still watching Bournemouth Newcastle. Oh, what a save by Nick Pope. Best goalkeeper in the league.
I had to watch it.
All
Love
right.
it, boys.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
I'm off.
KPV, you get back to watching that, and we'll speak very, very soon. I'll probably be speaking to you on Tuesday, as I've been told by my Ashmatic and Michael, for the AC Milan game.
Yeah, and Ben and Sim are going, but I'll be going to the home leg in March, so hopefully to see you there, my man.
I won't be going to that match, mate. I'll be here
Oh.
probably. Or actually, I don't
Oh.
know, but yeah, I don't think I'll be going to that. But if I can get a ticket, maybe we'll see each other there, KPV.
Yeah, and we're definitely linking up, man. But yeah, soon enough. Like, let me know when you're going. Oh, unlucky Newcastle. I'm off anyway.
All right, brother.
I'm off. And who let the dogs out? Stelios did.
Okay. Thank you very much, KPV. God, we spoke about wrestling. Who let the dogs out?
That's what it's about, man. Entertainment.
We spoke about quite a fair bit. How do we got in the back end now, Sammy? It's the last one? Okay. Right, so, with no further delays, let's bring on a guy. Let's bring on the man, Stelios.
Stelios.
And how are you? How are you, my man? Stel's on the verge of a breakdown.
He passed in the battle. He took it.
He's Stel, how are you?
Delirious.
I'm lost the plot.
Let's
Listen,
go.
do you know what? Before we begin, everyone just needs to show a bit of love to Brian Daigle and Ashmatic. You know, I've done watch-alongs and I've been in that studio. You get there, you're excited, you're looking forward to, putting on a bit of a show for the audience, and then doing the, an enjoyable post-match fan show. And then when you lose the way we did, it sucks, man. You think, do you know what? Why am I even here? So just show some love to these two guys, man, because they rode through it and they kept us, watching. So big up to both of you, man. I know people don't realize what it's like being in that studio when you're losing like that. So respect to both of you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you very much indeed,
Appreciate
brother.
easy.
Yeah, I mean, I wish we could have just said, you know what, fuck this, we're done, game over, see you later. We're off, me and Ash back and just down. We're gonna go get something to eat, but yeah, it ain't that easy. But still, let's hear it. Where do you want to go?
Look, there's a few things. First of all, fans who are having a go at Porro, you need to pipe down. It's his first game. This guy is a good player, right? You can't judge him off of one game where the whole team was crap. So I think that's unfair. Fans that are calling for Conte's head, Conte out, fine. I've got no problem with that. I have no emotional attachment to Conte. He owes me nothing. I owe him nothing. I'm Conte in. I've always been Conte in. But if fans want him out, you're allowed to have that opinion. Let the next guy come in and show us how to play with Dyer, Tanganga, Davies at the back. Number 3, fans who, yes, it's a blessing that Hugo is out of the squad. It's a blessing. He's got too many mistakes in him. Well, this guy stepped in. One game. He just held 4. 4. Okay? That's the guy between the sticks. He doesn't have the athleticism that Hugo Lloris has. I'm not saying he can't make a save, catch a ball. He might even be better at distributing the ball. But when it comes to athleticism, Hugo Lloris is like a cat. He's like a ninja, whether you like him or not. This guy is a lamppost. You've got a lamppost between the sticks. So, but fans were calling for that. Overall, I thought the performance was shit. It was one of the worst. 4-1 is a diabolical result, even when you're playing well, to concede like that and to, be a Spurs fan and say, Jesus Christ, man, what just happened? I'm not happy with today. But at the same time, guys, and I'm going to say it exactly as it is, and people are going to get upset with this. It's why I've turned the comments off. I'm not going to get personal. I'm not going to call out names. I'm saying it as it is, guys. I'm a Spurs fan. I'm entitled to my opinion, and this is my opinion. You cannot blame Enoch. You cannot blame Levy. Yes, I said that. You can't blame Perisic. Sorry, you can't blame Paratici. You can't blame Conte. The blame is 100% on fans who've accepted this. Fans who want to muddy the conversation with financials, with the accounts. Fans who want to create balanced debate and good conversation for YouTube views and hits. Fans who go to the game and accept it. Fans who want to go on channels and do interviews and say, yeah, I think Enoch's done a good job. I think Levy's done a good job. Fans who take videos on the sly of the 100 fans that protested and then whack it on YouTube and Twitter to laugh at them because they've got a different opinion to them. At the end of the day, guys, and, you know, I'm not trying to call you guys out or put you in a position where you've got to speak up on this, but fans have to be held accountable now. It is the fans who have accepted this. And I've got no problem. If you as a fan want to accept this, that's cool. You're allowed your opinion. Please don't think I'm having a dig at you. But do not stop moaning when the performances are shit, the results are bad, and the manager's struggling. Don't start having to go at them because you accepted this. You as a fan said, do you know what? Levy, carry on. Enoch, carry on. Keep doing what you're doing, guys. I'm going to back you. Well, then you need to back this. You cannot complain. Because a lot of us fans have been saying for a very, very, very long time, Enoch out, Levy out. It's got nothing to do with the lack of money being spent. It's the mismanagement of the funds. Players that get signed to this club that aren't good enough. Not enough players of the right position, like centre-backs, not being signed when we desperately need them. We've waited 7 years for a Harry Kane backup. We waited 5 years to replace Kyle Walker. And already we're shitting on the replacement after one game. We all said we need centre-backs. I don't care if you go out on loan and say, Inter, what will it take to get Skriniar or De Vrij at this club in January? How much will it take to do it now? Get it done, man. But we haven't. So therefore, you either take action against it or you sit back and you say, I'm gonna accept it. Fine. Well, if you've accepted it as a fan, don't moan on it, man. Don't complain on what you're seeing now. I feel sorry for the fans that have taken action. And by the way, protesting isn't the only way of taking action. There's many ways. So it's not about people all protesting. You can take action in a different way. So that's where I'm at with it, guys. My beef, not beef, my frustrations are with fans now. Because we have got the longest ownership in charge of this club in the Premier League. No ownership has been in charge this long and won so little for a top six club. I don't want to hear being compared to Everton and Brighton and Unai Emery at Villa. I don't want to be compared to them. We're a top six club. Compare us to a top six club or stop calling us a top six club. Fans, you have got a choice now. Either you continue to back the way this club is run from top to bottom, and I'm not just calling about Levy, Enoch, it's everything. Paratici, Conte, the players that are in or out of this club, the £250 million of mismanaged money that is out on loan. The £250 million of players that is out on loan is a mismanagement of the financials of this club. Fact. Because we spent an audacious amount of money for players that don't even play for us that are out on loan. It is unacceptable. How fans can accept it? Well, you're allowed the opinion. But to me, unacceptable. But if you want to...
Oh, mid-rant.
We get him back.
Oh, is he gone or is it us?
Try to get you back still as quickly as
We're
possible.
going to try, yeah. I don't know what's going on. But yes, so whilst we wait to see if we can get Stell back.
I was just going to quickly talk about, again, like what I saw on the pitch today.
Yeah.
With, in regards to, Leicester had, normally Tielemans was the man that they have in the double pivot, and he wasn't available today. And the guy who scored...
Oh, we got it back?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, go on.
There you go. He's back. I see what he's done. He switched to his phone.
Yeah.
That's because he's got one of the dodgiest Wi-Fi's in the land.
Guys, it literally, on my computer, it flashed up in red. Firewall, network blocked. I'm like,
Wow.
who's hacked the system? Who's hacked?
You were saying, actually, Stel, do you know what? Talking about that, Matthew was just about to start talking about the performance. So with your coach's head on now, let's start with Eric Dyer, because I don't want to see him in a Spurs shirt again. I don't care if we have to put players that are shitter than him in. At least we players that will give effort, will try and do things, and will want to improve.
Look, Brian, we can't blame Eric Dyer, man. Like, listen, I'm not going to go on a rant like I was before, because I've got it off my chest. But the reason Dyer is at this club is because so many fans applauded his performances last season and said that he's improving. And look at Dyer. You know, the same people that applauded Ben Davies getting a new contract. Accepting this, guys. We are accepting this. We are saying that this level is okay. So if you want to go in on the play, let's go. He was terrible today. He's not good enough for Tottenham. The best you're ever going to see from Eric Dyer is a top 4 challenge, being part of a team that can challenge for top 4. You know, do you think Eric Dyer is going to be part of a defensive line that goes on to win an FA Cup this year? Let's get real. Let's have a real chat about these things. Fans who are talking about FA Cup, it's the same conversation I've been hearing for the last 22 years. It's the same conversation that ends up in tears. We're not good enough. We're simply not good enough. And it's not just Eric Dyer. I don't think Ben Davies is good enough. I don't think Sessegnon. I think Perisic, from a defensive perspective, does not have the legs for it. I don't think that we've got the backup either. Like, you drop Dyer today, who comes in? Longley. He's got an error in him.
Yeah.
Sanchez. Sanchez is a
still,
donkey.
you know what it is? Why I say this, brother, is I can't have it that when a defender, or not just a defender, any player, if someone keeps making the same errors time and time again, how often do you let them get away with it without saying, right, we can't accept this anymore, you're coming out of the team because you're letting the team down? That's
who comes in, Brian? Who comes
I don't
in?
care. Sanchez, I would put Sanchez in there. I would, mate. Right now, so Sanchez makes a mistake, fine. You can't just keep saying, right, you're going to play and make a mistake. Right, you're going to play, you make a mistake. You make a mistake.
I'm not going to say what is the solution. I think that's basically what we want to know. What is the solution?
By the 3 world-class centre-backs.
I know, but right now we've got... we don't have a window. Ashmatic. Yeah.
This happens to every manager at Tottenham, okay? This isn't something new that's happened today, right? This happens to every manager at Tottenham. So the question we should ask is, why does this keep happening to managers at Tottenham? And then when we look into it, is money being spent? Yes, it is. Is money being spent in the areas we desperately need? No, it's not. You know, Pochettino for years was crying out for a proper striker that could come on and support Kane. Not replace him, support him. He never got it. He got Vincent Janssens, he got Lorientes. We're now in a situation with this manager who desperately needs quality centre-backs to play his system. His system depends on quality centre-backs. It's pivotal. And we've had... we signed Romero, I think, under Nuno. And that's the only centre-back we've signed properly that is in the squad since we signed Toby Alderweireld. Or Sanchez, sorry. So we've signed 2 centre-backs in 5 years that are actually at the club, that we've kept, that were good enough. And one of them is Sanchez, who we know shouldn't be at the club. So we had a chance in the summer to bring in a centre-back. What did we do? Stopgap. Clement Longley, who was good 2 years ago at Seville, but 2 years after that at Barcelona, he was terrible. And we've signed him on his way down. So you look at the recruitment for key positions for the system of a manager, we continue to fail. We might fix some areas, but we don't fix all the areas. And by the time we get round to fixing all the areas, a new problem opens up. So we're still not any better. For example, if Conte doesn't stay, I'm telling everyone, Harry Kane will not be at this club. He's not going to hang around for a lesser manager who's won nothing to take over the club. So then a new problem evolves. How do you replace Kane? We've probably got to buy 2 or 3 players to replace Kane, because we're not going to spend all of the Kane money on a new Kane. I don't think a Kane exists. So to answer your question, how do you fix the problem?
Yeah, but
you've got to structurally change the club, Ashmatic. It's that simple.
My thing is, like, I know we need a window, and we have windows to fix it. But I mean, in terms of the windows are shut now.
But we haven't fixed it.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. But I'm talking about here and now, as in, what is the solution
until the summer?
Until the summer, yeah. I said it wrong. Sorry. Until the summer, what is the solution? Yeah. What do we need to do to kind of manage the leaks in the leaky roof? Like, the roof is leaking.
Yeah.
Quick, I need some patchwork to patch it up until the summer.
Well, you're asking me how to polish a turd. Has anyone got an answer to that? I don't think there is an answer. Right? Look, I don't know if you know or if it was discussed earlier on the show, but we have got a major problem that cannot be fixed. Basuma is out injured. I've heard that Bentancur is out for a long period now. I've heard his injury is quite serious.
That was the next question, wasn't it?
Yep.
Now, there might be ACL. Now, if Bentancur and Basuma are out for the next 2-3 months, Højbjerg is suspended for the next Champions League game. We're looking at a Champions League game in the San Siro with a centre-mid partnership of Pape Sarr and a 50-50 fit player of Oliver Skip.
You're confused.
I've turned it off.
That's brilliant.
I've turned it off. It just popped up on my computer. I don't know what's going on here.
Oh, that's insane.
Okay, you're back. Okay, I know exactly what angle you were sitting. There you go. That's a wonderful angle still.
Let's give him a selfie stick.
Sorry, guys. My computer turned on.
Yeah, we saw that.
Took over the feed. I'm like, what's going on? Listen, Levy's watching me. I'm telling you, Levy's hacked me.
But carry on with what you're saying.
Polishing a turd.
Yeah, like for me, as a manager, a coach, the decision going forward now is this. I need to know what players for what positions I've got fit for the rest of this season. And if Conte is going to be here for the long term, he needs to stick with his system, continue to drum it into these players, because once he gets his players, if he gets them, then you'll see it click. The same thing happened to Klopp, Arteta, Ferguson. If you're in a process, this is the shit you have to go for. I've said this many times before. However, if he's leaving in the summer, then he's got to completely change the system and play to whatever is going to not hurt us in each game. Because I don't think we're good enough to win every game going forward. We haven't got the squad depth. We haven't got the quality. And most importantly of all, if we've now lost our midfield, guys, any which way you want, any manager that comes in and has got to spend the rest of the season with Højbjerg, Pape Sarr and Skip, and that is the rotation, forget it. Because Højbjerg, we're going to run him into the ground. He'll get injured. And then you're going to end up with the last 2 months of the season with Pape Sarr and Skip. That's like Arsenal playing with the new guy they signed, Vieira and Lokonga. They're not going to win shit.
Also, Stel, remember our medical team who are now looking after Basuma and Hugo.
Had an extra couple of weeks on top.
And now they're going to have Bentancur with them. So if they're predicted to be like 6 to 8 weeks,
add another 2.
Add another 2 months. Minimum. So yeah, it's Stel. What can we say?
Look, guys, I'm going to wrap up now because there's nothing I've said that no one's ever heard before. But the reality for me is this: if you wanted things to change at this club and you wanted things to move in the direction where you can be proud of what we're doing, then you've had plenty of chances to take action. If you've taken action, well done. If you haven't, don't complain, don't moan, because you've got the club that you deserve. You've got the club that you have backed, and you've got the club that you have said, yeah, this is okay. For me, guys, and I know a lot of people are going to get upset, but it's the truth. Fans need to start taking some accountability. we are allowing this to happen. Blame the manager if you want. Bring in the next manager, no problem. And in 18 months' time, we can talk about who the next manager is going to be after that guy. And another 18 months, the next guy after that. It's up to the fans, man. What do you want as a fan? Dislike me as much as you want, that's fine. But fans cannot sit there accepting this week in, week out, and getting all hyped and jizzing all over their pants because the stadium looks nice and the financials look sexy, when the football, it's been awful for 4 years. The players aren't good enough. Take accountability. That's my message. And listen, Brian, Ashmatic, big up to both of you, man. So much respect for you having to do that watch long. It's a hard thing to do, man. So well done.
I'm doing Milan with Simon on Tuesday, so that's going to be fun. Are you doing West Ham?
I'm doing West Ham Sunday.
Jesus. Okay, well, yeah. So
listen. You need to up the fees. You need to up the fees you're charging if this is how we're going, man.
Still, bro, we'll speak soon, my man. All right.
That's
all
what's
right.
man.
And believe it or not, come on, you Spurs.
I believe you. Come on, you Spurs. Okay, I believe we have a last-minute entry, don't we? I can see him. He's on location. I definitely know his name. I don't need to worry about the misspelling there. We have someone coming in.
He called him.
I
thought he would have said a name.
No. His name was put down as KPV. I know it's certainly not KPV, and I know this guy without my glasses on. So when we're ready, it's an everybody do. It's Danny Kiriakou. What's up, brother?
So sexy.
How
mate.
you doing, brother? Bet you enjoyed
Sorry,
that
it's a bit laggy because this internet connection. Oh, mate, it was unbelievable. I mean, my internet connection is just as diabolical as Tottenham's defence today. It was just shambolic, to be honest. To be honest, actually, I think Eric Dyer had a very good game. I think he was fantastic. I think Eric Dyer put in an Eric Dyer performance. He was sensational, absolutely sensational. I think our back line is made of winners. I think our back line is title-winning mentality and quality. I think, I don't think there's a problem. I don't know why people are so upset. I mean, they shouldn't really be upset because they like to talk about how lovely our stadium is and how well we run the club and we don't breach FFP rules and all this juicy stuff. I think we're in a brilliant position right now. I think we're overachieving, to be honest with you. Right now, I think we're in a better position than where we should be, really. If I'm honest, where do we start about today? Where do we start? Honestly, it's I heard some people as well, and I heard what Stel was saying, and I agree with him now. I'm at the point now, guys, where I think it is the fans that need to take accountability. What is it the fans actually want from this club? Because I've been speaking to people on Twitter, and people can't seem to either read English properly, or they have they just have this motive, or anyone that's Levy out, they think that they're some sort of like wrong un, or they're delusional or deranged because we want better for the football club and we have a different way of wanting it, right? And I just find it's at the point now where the fans, they are to blame for what's going on at this club, because at the end of the day, when I've got fans telling me that we run the club in the right way, and you've got Levy coming out and saying that we're going to build a hotel and we're going to build this, we're going to build tower blocks for new homes, we're going to build the cinema, we're going to build the NFL and women's football training complex and the women's stadium as well, and all this kind of thing. Where do you think that money comes from? Do you think ENIC are not investing their own money to make these projects and complete these projects? Neither is Tavistock. They're not investing their own money. It's the money that comes from the club and what we generate. That's how the hundreds of millions are going to be spent to build these things. So what we're doing now is exactly how we've run the club the last 20 years. It's no different, and we do spend money. Of course, we do, right? If you actually look at it, if you want to look at it realistically, yeah, the people who always say to me, "Oh, but we spent loads of money," they always use this argument. The people who are either on the fence or back Levy, right? What they say is, "Oh, but we spent money," and I say to them, "Yeah, we have spent money, but look at how we spent it, right? Look at the people that's been in charge of those occasions where we spent money in the wrong way and we spent it on absolute dross players, right? Look at Jose Mourinho, for example. He wanted Ruben Diaz or Skriniar. We go and get Joe Rodon, right? And Steve Hitchin was awful at his job, but on top of that, he was also restricted at his job. Just like all the other six directors of football we had, every single one of them has been restricted in one way or another by the restraints of this club and the way they run it, right? So I don't know why people keep expecting more. Like we're gonna win trophies or we're gonna do this and that. No, we're not. We're never, ever, 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 ever gonna win trophies unless it's pot luck, right? And you know what? The worst thing about it is now if Bentancur is out for the rest of the season, people think we're going to get top four. You are on crack. You are smoking some crack, some strong fucking shit. And I'll tell you why, because people need to remember last season we brought in Kulusevski and Bentancur in the January transfer window. And it was only then when those two players came in that elevated our game from where it was, right, to being a Champions League team or being a team that managed to get into the Champions League just, right? Because of obviously the other teams around us who were underperforming as well, we managed to get into the Champions League. If Bentancur has got an ACL injury and he's out for the rest of the season, we have now got to rely on Skip, Sarr, and Højbjerg for 3 competitions for the rest of the season, right? Just let that sink in, because I'm telling you now, there's no way that this team is making top 4 with those midfielders in the midfield. It's not happening. It's just not. It's not the level of a top 4 midfield. So, and I actually worry for someone like Højbjerg if Bentancur's out, because Basuma's not gonna. He's going to be out for a couple of months as well. So we've lost two of our, you could say, better midfielders now. So I think people need to scrap the. We're going to go and win an FA Cup. We're going to go far in the Champions League. We ain't doing none of that. No way are we doing any of that. And if I was Antonio Conte, I would say, fuck you, Daniel Levy. I'm going for the FA Cup, regardless of what you say. And if he sacks him, he sacks him. And I don't think he will. But if I was Conte, I'd be going all out for that FA Cup. That is what I would focus on. It's the only chance of salvaging this season, in my opinion, right now, based if Bentancur is out for the rest of the season. And that's such a shame, because he scored today, and he's looked kind of good in moments, and since he's come back, we've been playing a bit better as well in the last couple of games, and now he potentially could be out for the rest of the season. And if you don't remember, actually, when he was out this season, for those games that he was out, I don't think we won any, if I recall. I can't remember. I can't get it up because I don't have internet, really great internet, but. I just think fans need to wake up and actually they need to take responsibility and accountability, because if they want to accept the way this club is run, then no fucking fan, no, not one single fan can have the audacity to moan if we're doing bad, because you accepted this. You didn't want any change. You like the way that you keep telling me you like the way the club is being run. So if we end up finishing way below where we should be expecting for us to finish, then none of you can moan, because I've had the same fans speak to me and say, and I've heard them moaning about today's loss, right? When these are the same fans that are saying that the club are run the right way. It's absolutely diabolical. It's ridiculous. I mean, look, the game today just goes to show, right, how bad our club has been run, because those 4 back players, or 3 of them, let's just say Dyer, Tanganga, and Davis, those players wouldn't get into any team in the top 10, not one of them. And you think Tottenham can expect to challenge the top 4, right, with those players, and especially to add to that, Fraser Forster, who was a free player who wasn't even consistent, a good Premier League player. And we got him because he was a free player and he was English. It's the only reason we got him, right? So if people think that we're going to challenge the top four and challenge for the FA Cup, then you're delusional. But look, I want us to challenge for the top for the FA Cup because I think that's the only chance we're going to have of salvaging the season. I don't think we're going to win it, but I think that's the only chance we've got in having any kind of successful season this season. So I don't know what you guys think, because the game today, for me, it just showed me that once again, we've gone 4 windows of Paratici and we've run 1 central defender. We haven't sorted out that back line in 4 windows. 4 windows we've had him.
For me, I don't think we can tactically. I wouldn't change because of the middle situation. We're quite light now, so if you did go 3 in the middle,
I agree.
One of them got injured, then we really are screwed.
Yep.
So that wouldn't make any sense.
But we're good at converting players so we start playing goalkeepers in. We bring Alfie Whiteman in midfield and Brandon Austin. Why not?
Yeah, that would probably make sense the most.
We'll bring Dyer back into the midfield.
Yeah, exactly. So
that guy.
So for me, it's tactics as usual. It's the 3 at the back, 4 and 3. And I mean, if we went 2 at the back, I think we're even less protected there. So we just have to carry on.
I agree.
And they need to get back to basics, because for me, Dyer in that position, he was too far away from Iñárritu, and also when he turns, he makes himself really small.
Yep.
So that's why they're able to
shoot.
And I think they studied that as well, because that's happened a couple of times where I remember we were playing United and they were shooting outside the box. We're playing another team, they're shooting outside the box.
Yeah.
And I'm like, teams know that.
Teams know that. Yeah, when you play Spurs, the central defender might turn and he might not want to make himself big, and it's easy. So potluck, he might be able to hit the target. So yeah, that's how I see it.
I just don't know. I've got to say. I mean, we've spoken a lot. Obviously, the fan thing. That's a debate that obviously everyone's having and everyone's talking about, and there's no winner in this situation because it just splits more divide, in my opinion. But you know where I stand on this. Everyone bloody well knows where I stand on this. We talked about the defence. We talked about the midfield. That front line was fucking pathetic today. Every single one of them. Every single, like the whole team was. But now you look at it, and we're talking about when people are there for options. We now have Danjuma. Mora's back in the team. Richarlison is back. So why are Son and Kulusevski allowed to put in these performances? Or I will say Son more recently, or all season, over and over and over and over again. But Son's done it more, but Kulusevski hasn't had great games. Harry Kane, he may not have had a great game today, but let's face it, his goals have kept us going all season.
Yep.
Why, when we do have the options, we don't even make them or take advantage of them?
Do you know what, Brian? It's quite funny because like the options that we do have, right, I don't think are good enough, in my opinion, right, to really make a big difference in the way we play. When our front 3 don't perform, the level of quality that we have behind them, right, it just drops so dramatically, right? If Bentancur's not there, right, or if you look at that defense today, right, and it's the reason why we couldn't keep out any goals today, because they were just all over the place. It's like they didn't know. It's like they'd never played together before. It was shambolic. It was like watching less than. You see better football at Sunday League football. You see more organisation at Sunday League football, right? It was disgraceful. These are Premier League footballers, right? And they don't even have the ounce of them to have a 5% of concentration to concentrate during a game that they're paid very highly to do, right? And this is exactly why we are in the same place where we've got 3 of those players, right, that were still there in the Poch days, and 2 of those in the back line today. They were players that Poch put on the bench and wanted to get rid of. He wanted to get rid of those players. and we've still got them 5 years, 6 years later. We've still got the same players, and people expect different results. How many managers have we had since Poch's left, and not one of them has got a tune out of them? Not one of them. The only one who got a tune out of them was Conte last season. He managed to make them believe in themselves to a point where they were playing way above their actual level, right? And we managed to scrape top four because we had a target, right? But this season, they've just we've reverted back to their original level, which is where they've always have been for the last 3.5 years before Conte came in, right? So I don't know why people think that anything's going to change, right? And if people were saying Conte out, right, then do you know what? Yeah, then I'm always going to be Conte in no matter what. I don't care what anyone says. I'm always going to be Conte in because I don't think he's the problem. But if people want Conte out, fine, get rid of him. And then, like Stel said, well, the same shit's going to happen in 18 months. But then in 18 months, people are going to forget Harry Kane ain't going to be here in 18 months. I can tell you that. And you think other players are going to want to stay around to go through this capitulation of Spurs? They're not going to stay around. Harry Kane ain't going to stay around for an 8th, 9th place finish. You think he's going to stay without being in the Champions League? And if Conte walks out in the end of the season, right? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think Spurs are going to pay over 100 million to get, or 220 million to get 3 players that give us what Kane gives us? It's not happening. It's not happening. So the fans need to wake up, because honestly, I'm telling you, like, the way it's going, if we don't finish in the top 4, we don't win a trophy this season, right? There is going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be happening in the next couple of years, and fans probably will still have that hope of Daniel Levy he's doing the right things for the club. He's investing. You're going to see the same thing you see every window. You're going to get one £60 million player. You're going to get a bunch of average players who don't even get into the first team. They're just squad fillers. That's what you're going to get. Or you'll get players that are probably maybe slightly better than what we've got, but they're not really going to make a difference. We'll pay over the odds for those players as well. And it's just going to be the same stuff over and over again. And I think we'll gradually get worse over the years, in my opinion. And I just think that I don't want to be the kind of misery, bring the misery on more misery than what we've witnessed today. But I'm just trying to give you a bit of the reality of what could potentially happen at Spurs, and people will just want to ignore it. That's the harsh reality. People just want to ignore it, and they think everything's still nice and rosy, and the club's in the right direction, and we're running the club in such a good way. If we were running the club in a good way, you think we would have gone into the season, right, with Longley as the only lone defender we brought in, when we clearly needed 2 centre backs at the beginning of the season. We said this over 2 years ago, over 3 years ago, that we needed centre backs. We brought in 1 centre back, and we haven't upgraded since Romero, and that was it's coming up to 2 years now, a year and a half ago. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's honestly ridiculous. So, look, for me, I just think that the fans need to take accountability, because they have no right to get pissed off if they are happy with the way the club is run, right? If they are happy with the club is run, then you get everything you see in front of you is what we deserve as fans. That's it. That's what we deserve. We deserve what is in front of us. We deserve this inconsistent, poor performances from these average players, because that's what they are. If Harry Kane wasn't in this team, right, where would this, honestly, but I want to ask you boys a question. If Harry Kane wasn't in this team, where do you think we'd be this season without his goals?
Oh, mate, I don't even want to think about it. What about you? Lower half.
There's loads of games where he's literally just saved us because of his intervention, like that one goal that he might score.
Yeah.
Remember, even in the FA Cup, the only goal we scored against, was it Portsmouth? Was him.
Yeah. Portsmouth.
The FA Cup.
It's like games like that. Like, if he doesn't turn up, no one else does.
No, you're right. It's like where are the goals going to come from?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we scored the one today with Bentancur. Yeah. But then when we needed goals, who are you looking for? You're looking for Kane. Obviously, he didn't deliver, but 9 times out of 10,
he does. Yeah.
He does deliver, and he has been there.
We'll probably be 8 for him.
We'll probably be sitting in around 8.
Or where Liverpool.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Ashmak. And do you know what as well? Like, people think that Richarlison's going to come in and score goals for us, but let's be honest, he's an average finisher, right? He's all right, but Richarlison, for him to be a good finisher, like, he's never scored more than 15 goals in a season, right? So if you're that good of a player like Harry Kane's played with some poor Tottenham teams, and he's been consistently good. If anything, he's got better over the years, right? He's just got better and better. So if people think Richarlison's going to come in and start scoring goals, you need to have a reality check, because if you actually watch Richarlison when he does score goals, it's when people put the ball on a plate for him and he'll put it in the net. But we don't have players that put the ball to anyone, right? The only person who puts the balls onto plates for people is Harry Kane. So you take Harry Kane out, we've got no creator either. So I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but I'm just not looking forward to the rest of the season at the moment. If Benton Coy's out for the rest of the season with an ACL injury, I don't know where we're going to end up. I don't know about you guys, but
yeah, well, it's not looking pretty, is it, Danny? It's not looking pretty at all, brother. But listen, you go enjoy. It's
looking lovely and rosy, mate.
You go enjoy your last few nights in Cyprus, and I'll see you next week.
Big up, Danny, man.
All right, guys.
See you later.
Big up, boys, and also for you boys as well. Big up for you guys to sit there and doing this watch along, having to watch that today. That is not easy doing that. No way in hell. And then to do the fan show as well and listen to more people like me come on. So big up to you boys, man.
Much love, brother. I'll speak to you soon.
Come on, you Spurs, and leave me out.
Leave you out.
Leave you out, man.
Cool. Are we done, Sammy? We're done? Okay. Yeah. Well, that's just been, I thought it was going to be a hella long one, but it hasn't seemed that long.
Yeah.
Ashmatic, brother, thank you very much indeed for spending the afternoon. Always a pleasure, mate.
Thank you.
So we've had a 2-2 draw and a 4-1 defeat. Well, there's goals when you and me are together.
Yeah, there's definitely goals.
We just haven't had a win.
Yeah, it's need a win.
But guys, listen, thank you for spending your afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is around the world where you are. Listen, it's a shit show. Yeah. It's not been a good day, but we all listen. The thing I will say very quickly, the thing what being said about the fans, I can see it doing over the chat as well. Everyone wants successful Tottenham.
That's right.
It's just how we get there. What I will say, because Stell, Danny spoke about the fans, and I will say because it's been I can see it in the chat, and there's been people bitching at each other on both ways. Yeah. The bit that gets to us, or the bit that gets to me, is people that say leave you out and say they're coming to protest, or say they're going to come and do this, or say they're going to do that, and then they don't come.
Yeah.
Just say you're not coming, or you don't want to participate, or you're not. Don't say you're going to come and then don't.
Yeah.
And that's basically, listen, when I tweet anything or do anything, the worldwide fan base who feel the same, when they can't get to places, are retweeting it, commenting, doing it and everything. People that say they're coming because they live in London, or they live here, they live there, or can get there, and then don't. That's where my issue is. Listen, everyone has a right to be, whether you're Levy in, or if you want to call it Levy in, Levy on the fence, or where I am, Levy out. Everyone has their right to an opinion. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows where my stance is, and I will be that way whilst there's air in my lungs. Mm. But we all want that successful Tottenham, and that's the bit that gets to me. When fans say that they're going to come and protest, and they speak on Twitter Spaces, or they come in the chat here, or they respond to me on Twitter, or not just me, they put it on Twitter, and then say they're coming, and then they don't. That's the issue, but that's what I've got to say about that. But let's leave it on a nicer note. We've got Milan.
Yeah.
It's Valentine's Day. What are you doing Valentine's Day?
Yeah, hopefully I can watch the game. Valentine's Day itself, nothing. But every day is Valentine's Day for me. You know? I'm joking.
Look at you, smooth operator.
I'm joking.
But yeah, listen, guys, it's been a hard day's night.
Hard graft.
It has been. But listen, we'll let you go and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yeah, don't let it ruin your weekend, guys.
Oh, it always does for me, so that's it done. But like, comment, subscribe, and as always, come on you Spurs.